Black macaque, Tarsius, beautiful birds, tarantulas and other endemic species. Volcanic beaches and colourful coral reefs. Mighty sea turtles and white-tipped reef sharks. Mangrove forests. Imposing volcanoes and roaring waterfalls. Minahasan people and their Warugas. Famous extreme market. Delicious food and extremely friendly locals. All this is North Sulawesi.
In the morning. It's hot.
Our exploration of this interesting Indonesian island began where else than on the small island of Bunaken, which lies in the immediate vicinity of the city of Manado in the north of Sulawesi. The Indonesian Sea, where two oceans and two continents intertwine, is an epicenter of biological diversity. Nowhere in the world can so many different ocean species be found than in Indonesia and its immediate surroundings. We can't wait to dive in and to discover them. 20 euros is enough for a friendly local to take us by boat to one of the most beautiful coral reefs in the world.
Bunaken National Park is a marine park in the north of Sulawesi Island in Indonesia. The park is located near the center of the Coral Triangle and offers habitat to 390 types of coral and a huge array of fish and marine mammals. It covers a total area of 890.65 kilometres squared, 97% of which is marine habitat. The remaining 3% of the park is terrestrial, which includes the 5 islands of Bunaken, Manado Tua, Mantehage, Nayan and Sileden.
So, we found our first resort and we can't wait to see what it has to offer.
Sea Garden is a small and cozy dive resort with comfortable traditional style cottages set in a tropical garden. The resort also offers luggage storage, secure deposit boxes and a laundry service. The family houses are Minahasa in style and have 2 floors, each with its own bedroom and private bathroom. They are perfect accommodation for a small family or group of travellers. Each room has its own entrance and a veranda with a sea view. The restaurant serves Indonesian dishes and also caters for vegetarians. At the resort, you can rent full snorkel equipment and hire a boat to take you to other parts of the coral reef.
We didn't need to borrow masks or fins, and we didn't even rent a boat. We prepared and brought all the equipment we needed with us. Soon after arriving at the Sea Garden, we took a dip in the warm Indonesian Sea. We were greeted with a treasure trove of underwater life. Shoals of colorful fish gleamed as they darted between the coral outcroppings, while stalwart starfish basked in the depths. We explored every inch of the reef we visited, from the sandy shores and mangrove plantations to the edge of the sea shelf where a vertical underwater plummet led to a dark, watery abyss. As the coral reef revealed more and more beauty, our hearts filled with wonder and gratitude for being lucky enough to witness this hidden part of the underwater world.
A coral reef is an important ecosystem that provides a home for many marine organisms. Corals are in fact colonies of small animals called polyps, which have a hard exoskeleton made of calcium carbonate. When polyps die, their structures remain, and new generations of polyps grow over them. These layers build up over many years, and gradually a limestone-like structure emerges. This organic construction is what we all know as a coral reef. Many species of fish, turtles, sharks, rays, octopuses, and crustaceans claim reefs as their home. More than 390 species of coral, 2,500 species of fish, 500 species of mollusk, and 130 species of marine mammals live within the waters of this particular national park. It is claimed that this park has 7 times more cholera genera than even Hawaii, and you can find 70% of all known fish species in the Indo-Western Pacific sheltering within its waters.
We were especially fascinated by some sea creatures.
Clownfish are one of the few species of marine fish that breed in captivity and usually live in a shoal. Females are larger and more dominant. The most unique characteristic of the clownfish is its ability to change sex. Males are very loyal, staying with only one female for their entire life. The male prepares the litter and then guards it fiercely. Clownfish tend to live in small groups called schools, and each of these schools resides in their own sea anemone. When a female dies, a male changes sex and becomes a female. Butterfly fish are beautiful to behold due to their vibrant and entrancing colors. They are very peaceful towards other sea life, with the exception of another of their own species. Juveniles are colored differently to adults and sport a black circle on their back. Attackers mistake this marking as an eye and can become confused when their potential prey appears to swim away from them while maintaining eye contact.
We could hardly grasp the grandeur of the amazing sea life that skirted and flitted all around us. If you know where to look, however, the warm Indonesian sea also harbors less colorful creatures.
Pufferfish are most known for their ability to inflate into a ball several times their normal size to deter predators and make for a tricky meal. When threatened, the awkward swimmers gulp up huge amounts of water and sometimes air, which they store in their body. In this enlarged state, they can only swim at around half their normal speed. Some species even have spines across their bulbous exterior to deter predators further. There are around 100 different species of pufferfish. Most contain a toxic substance that makes them potentially harmful to other sea life.
If some are round and spiky and with funny faces, others are narrow and menacing with beaks and spikes. Despite their unusual appearances, they also impressed us greatly.
Pipefish share a subcategory of fish alongside seahorses and sea dragons. They look like a flat seahorse with a small mouth. Many are very weak swimmers and move slowly due to rapid yet inefficient movements of their dorsal fin. Like seahorses, the male pipefish carries the eggs in this family unit, for which the incubation period is only 8 weeks. After they are born, the young swim freely after only 3 to 6 hours. Needlefish are slender, growing up to 1 meter in length. They have a single dorsal fin placed far to the rear of the body, almost opposite to the anal fin. The most distinctive feature of the needlefish is their long and narrow beak, bearing multiple sharp teeth. In most species, the upper jaw reaches its full length in adulthood. Juveniles are easily distinguishable by their elongated lower jaw and much shorter upper one. During this stage of their life cycle, they eat plankton, switching to fish once the beak fully develops.
Many of the inhabitants of this underwater cityscape do not swim freely in the open ocean. A great majority prefer the cracked streets and limestone alleys of the seabed. These grounded life forms are so varied and diverse that a laminated encyclopedia would have been extremely useful on our dives.
Crocacia clams are crystalline, multicolored shells that can burrow through limestone bedrock. To accomplish this impressive feat, they release a potent acid that wears away and slowly breaks down the carbonate in the rock. Crocacia clams use the ridges of their thick shell to cut into the acidically softened rock, which they then break open using their strong muscles. More than 30 species of starfish have been identified on Bunaken Reef. Starfish are an important part of any coral reef ecosystem. They help maintain the careful balance in the Bunaken ecosystem by feeding on a variety of marine animals, including algae, coral polyps, and even other starfish.
The seabed hides another interesting inhabitant.
The snowflake moray has a blunt white snout that goes into a yellowish brown and black striped speckled pattern. They have a dorsal fin that runs the length of their body. Protruding out of their snout, they have 2 yellow tubular nostrils angled downwards and another pair closer to their eyes. Moray eels' eyesight is poor, and their heightened sense of smell compensates for this. They have small blunt teeth, and their diet consists mainly of crustaceans. This species is an unconfirmed protogynous hermaphrodite, meaning that they are able to change sex during their lifetime. Snowflake morays are also scaleless, secreting a mucus over the skin that allows for easy maneuverability in and around holes in their environment. The white-spotted boxfish is a species of boxfish found in the Indian and Pacific Oceans. It is found in reefs between 1 and 30 meters below the water's surface. This particular species grows to an average length of 25 centimeters. Males and females differ in color. Males typically have dark black coloring on their backs with white spots, and may have a bluish hue to their sides with bright yellow bands and spots. Females and juveniles frequently don a brown scaly coat, as opposed to the deep blacks of the males. This fish is coated in a poisonous mucus called ostracytocin, which it releases when threatened. This poison is powerful enough to kill any and all fish in a small aquarium tank if released, but is unlikely to be effective in its natural habitat as it is diluted by the volume of water and also disperses quickly. It is harmless to humans and not related to the poison found in blowfish.
Of all the beautiful sea creatures that we saw, we were most captivated by the mighty and elegant sea turtles. For this unforgettable experience, we had to move to the edge of the coral reef and wait patiently. Well, not for too long, Very soon, our patience was rewarded with a sea turtle surveying us curiously before swimming majestically towards us, its flippers moving slowly and elegantly under the waves.
There are 4 main species of sea turtles which inhabit the Bunaken Marine Park: the green turtle, the hawksbill turtle, the leatherback, and the loggerhead. Usually the former 2 are the most common to see during any given dive. While snorkeling, it is incredibly exciting to see a turtle breach the water's surface for a split-second gasp of air, only to submerge again for hours. These characterful animals can become more than half a century old, averaging a lifespan of 80 years. In evolutionary terms, sea turtles have been around for a very long time, at least since the reign of the dinosaurs 200 million years ago. It is important to understand how endangered turtles are in this day and age. Global populations are falling, and some of the biggest threats turtles face are unintentional human factors, like bycatch from industrial fishing operations and ingesting waste plastic roaming the ocean. The Bunaken Marine Park status as a natural reserve allows all snorkelers and divers to enjoy these wonderful creatures for what they are, gentle giants that deserve our respect.
The edge of the coral reef hides another interesting inhabitant. White-finned sharks also rose from the black depths of the ocean to greet us. As they ascended between the cavities of the vertical coral wall, they regarded the surface with curiosity, yet displaying fatigue. We watched them in awe, and we were excited by the opportunity to see them in their natural environment. We counted the specimens that swam below us.
The whitetip reef shark gets its name from the white tips on the first dorsal and caudal fins. It has a slender body with a short and broad head, a flattened snout, and oval-shaped eyes. The body is dark grey to brown in colour, and the lower part of the body is white. It is found throughout the Indo-Pacific region and is common along coral reefs, though it is also found on sandy shoals, in lagoons, and along cliffs into deeper waters. The whitetip reef shark is a fairly small species of shark, growing to a maximum length of just under 2 meters. This shark is quite harmless to humans due to its friendly nature and small teeth. It avoids close contact with people and swims away when swimmers or divers approach it.
It's not only the coral reefs of North Sulawesi that have as high of a level of biodiversity, however. The mangrove forests in the part of the world have just as many unusual inhabitants, and as we explored, more and more were revealed to us.
Mangroves are the only trees in the world that can live in salt water and have a complex salt filtration system which excretes excess salt through the mangrove's waxy leaves. The unique root structure of a mangrove forest protects the shoreline by forming a resilient natural buffer against storm waves and tidal surges. Fish love mangroves. Between their roots is a vast nursery for small and large fish alike. The juveniles of thousands of species find shelter, protection, and food here. Many of these species spend their entire juvenile phase in the embrace of mangrove roots before heading out to start their adult life in the open ocean or on the coral reefs. There are many mangrove forests across Bunaken Island. During high tide, there is enough water to snorkel or scuba dive through them, and a whole new world opens up. Between the roots, you'll find sea snakes, snake eels, a whole array of gobies with their shrimp buddies, and even anemones love it here.
The underwater world of the coral reef is beautiful, but it's time to dry off and explore Bunaken Island itself. At low tide, you can walk along Pangalisan Beach to the village, and at high tide, the beach disappears underwater, but you can walk back along the pathways. just walking around the beach is already a most enjoyable experience. Pathways connect the various settlements around Bunaken, and many are effectively impassable after rain. There are no cars on the island, so motorbikes and boats are the only available means of transportation. You can explore the island on foot, or you can take a boat between dive sites.
The 800-hectare Bunaken Island has a population of about 2,000, mostly living in the village of Bunaken at the southern end, though people also live in the smaller settlements of Tanjung Paragi and Alung Banua.
Hello.
Resorts on the south and west sides of Bunaken Island are on a beach strip of coarse yellow sand, whilst the frontage of those on the east side is a mixture of mangroves and small beaches. Bunaken is a tropical island with a dry and rainy season. The air temperature on the island varies between 22 and 32 degrees Celsius, with the water ranging between 27 and 29 degrees Celsius. The hottest month is August, with the coldest and rainiest month being January.
We visited the island in September, and both the air and water were ideal. The tropical summer pampered us with temperatures up to 32 degrees, and we cooled our overheated bodies in the warm sea. It only rained once during our stay, and to be honest, it was a refreshing and pleasant experience. After about 20 minutes of walking, we arrived at a small village located in the southern part of the island. We were met by very friendly villagers who often turned their heads inquisitively after us. We of course obliged the locals, took pictures here and there, and explained where we came from.
Thank you. Hello.
The village isn't large. Small houses surrounded by tropical flowers are connected by narrow paths. It is divided into Christian and Muslim parts. While dogs are predominant in the Christian area, we only came across a goat in the Muslim part. In the middle of the village is a beautiful Christian church, and at the far end, a mosque also stands proudly. The village has quite a few places where you can get a good meal. The basis of local cuisine is rice, with various additions. Fish and seafood feature prominently. Among local drinks, you can buy kap tikus, palm wine, and if you prefer, bintang beer.
Ini Cristiano.
What's up?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yes. It's me, Yasin.
What is your name? Cornelis. Christy? Briti, Christy, y Cornelis.
Can you say something?
Yeah.
What can you say in English? Little. Okay. What is cat? Meow. Meow. Cat. Dog. How? Huh? Christy. Wow.
You.
What?
Cristiano. You.
Brigita.
Brigita.
Yes.
Shopping in Bunaken is also a very special experience. Local women offer handmade products on nearby benches and use all their charms and charisma to do so.
Sarong batik. This yellow. Yeah, this yellow. This yellow.
We learned that you should never buy from just one lady, but make a purchase from each separately. The whole thing is accompanied by a lot of humor, kindness, and smiles. And to top it off, the spree also ends with photography.
It's nice.
The island also has a very lively social life. Each year during the second week of September is the so-called Thanksgiving Day, where every household has an open door, as the locals say. When the weather is good, this festival is attended by many people from Sulawesi itself. On Thanksgiving, parties erupt across the village, and every household prepares their traditional dishes to share with anyone who wishes to sit at the family table. The meal is usually followed by traditional music and dance. On the small island, we discovered all the hidden treasures, the beautiful underwater world of the coral reef, winding paths through the tropical jungle, a befriending local population, and customs we have never experienced before. Each day, we awoke to a special sight, the sun blazing into the tropical sky, chasing away the darkness and casting the world in a thick orange hue. On the horizon lies Sulawesi, and this mighty island will be our next destination. One last look at the incredible island that has hosted us for a week, and we are back on the boat. We are returning to Celebes, and during the ride we have a pleasant chat with Franz, a friendly local from Bunaken who organized our entire journey, both by water and by road. Our journey took around 15 minutes by sea and was followed by a further 2 hours by car on winding, narrow roads through small villages and mysterious Indonesian forests. The landscape is as beautiful as ever, and every now and then you catch a glimpse of mighty volcanic peaks that rise mysteriously above the green surroundings. We drive to the Tangkoko Nature Reserve, which will be our temporary home for the next week. Tangkoko Sanctuary Villa is located atop a beautiful hill overlooking Tangkoko Mountain and is less than 5 minutes drive from the entrance of Tangkoko Nature Reserve. We settled comfortably into a 2-story villa with a breathtaking view of the forests and hills right from the comfort of our bed. We could also observe the nature around us from our small balcony. Our balcony offered us a place to sit quietly and enjoy the beauty of this wonderful part of the world.
Tangkoko Nature Reserve is a nature reserve in the northern part of Sulawesi Island. The reserve covers an area of nearly 9,000 hectares and includes 3 mountains: Mount Tangkoko, Mount Dua Saudara, and Mount Batu.
Hi. Brigitta.
Stefana.
Fana.
Inking.
Ah,
Inking.
Inking.
Apit.
Apit.
Yes.
As soon as we arrived in the forest, we were greeted by curious and playful black macaques. A large group joined us on our exploration of the forest, some watching us from afar, with others curiously approaching. All of them accompanied us during our walk through Sulawesi's unspoiled nature.
The Celebes crested macaque, also known as the crested black macaque, Sulawesi crested macaque, or the black ape, is an endemic species of Sulawesi. Their skin and hairless faces, with the exception of a few white hairs in the shoulder area, are pitch black. They have striking reddish-brown eyes, which is unusual for a primate, and the remnants of the tail, which is only about 2 centimeters long, is also notable. The Celebes crested macaque also has a long muzzle, high cheeks, and either a ponytail of long hair or a ridge on top of the head. Celebes crested macaque are very social animals, and they live in large groups. One group will mostly consist of one family, in which there can be up to 60 individuals. They range between 44 and 60 centimeters in total body length and have a weight range of between 3.6 and 10.4 kilograms. They belong to the smaller macaque species, and their life expectancy in the wild is estimated at between 15 and 20 years. They are classified as an endangered species, as it is estimated that there are only 5,000 left in the jungles of Sulawesi. Of this number, roughly 2,000 live in Tangkoko.
While the cute little macaques accompanied us during our walk through the forest, a look high into the canopy revealed an endemic and very interesting animal.
The native cuscus bear is another species which is endemic to Sulawesi and the nearby islands. They live in tropical moist lowland forest at a maximum altitude of 600 meters above sea level. Cuscus bears are mainly diurnal animals and are often found in pairs. They feed on the young leaves of various plants. Feeding only takes up about 5% of their daily activities, and a large portion of the day is spent resting. Cuscus bears are sadly another endangered species, mainly due to hunting, capture for sale as pets, and deforestation.
In addition to black macaques and cuscus bears, the forest of the Tangkoko Nature Reserve harbored many other interesting and equally endemic animal species. With the help of our extremely friendly guide Sakar, we ventured even deeper into the forest undergrowth. We strained our eyes and listened. It seemed that we were alone in the forest, but we were not. A native owl had been regarding us from a high branch, and with a surprising lack of fear, seemed to pose for us as we scrambled for the best possible photograph. Though they tried their best to hide in the thick canopy, we caught sight of a pair of hornbills high up in the treetops. A few steps away, we discovered a nest high up inside a tree trunk. Before long, we heard rustling and a stunning adult hornbill swooped in to return to its young. The hornbill chick was waiting for its mother's return and proceeded to dine on the gift she had brought it. As we walked, we saw more black macaques, cuscus bears, hornbills, and many other types of birds. Even a large lizard crossed our path during our exploration. One unique animal we had hoped to see in Tangkoko forest, also endemic and very rare, did not appear. To catch a glimpse of the remarkable Tarsius, we needed to return, but this time under the cover of darkness.
Tarsius monkeys are the smallest and perhaps cutest primates in the world. They grow to between 10 and 15 centimeters in height and up to 80 grams in weight. They are so tiny that one could fit easily in the palm of your hand. Their saucer-like eyes, disproportionately large compared to their bodies due to being nocturnal, stare deep into your own. Their most outstanding feature, however, is that Tarsius is the most faithful animal in existence. A Tarsius will take one, and one mate only, throughout its entire life. Even if its mate dies, a Tarsius will never take another. Up close, family members communicate using a combination of facial expressions and body movements. Pulled ears convey discomfort, and a sitting position is a defensive posture. They know and share activities such as play, cuddling, nurturing, and food sharing. Living in a group means better protection against predators, infanticide males, and also provides the benefit of easier mating. Their cute looks betray their very territorial nature, however, and Tarsius units often clash with neighbouring groups if territorial integrity is tested. Territory is marked with urine and gland secretions. During morning hours, after having returned to their habitats, a family will call out into the night using specific sounds to declare their territory as their own to other groups.
Darkness doesn't only belong to the cuteness of the tarsier. We also caught sight of a beautiful and slender black tarantula. The Tangkoko Nature Reserve is located in the most northeastern part of northern Sulawesi and extends all the way to the coastal strip of the island. The forest joins the small village of Batu Putih, which is reached by a narrow and winding road. We set out to explore this native Indonesian village on foot, and with every new step we met locals who greeted us with an enthusiastic hello.
Stefan. Apa itu?
Tintin.
King. Anjing. King. Tai.
Hai.
Bye-bye, Thomas.
Bye-bye.
Hello. Bye-bye, Thomas.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
The main road through the village led us to the coast, where we reached a cozy view of a black volcanic beach. The sand was loose and gave way quickly underfoot as we took each step. The waves of the warm tropical tide lapped to the shore and rocked the colorful working boats of the locals back and forth. The deep blue sea stroked the beach. Occasionally, the quiet air was punctuated with birdsong from rare species inhabiting the Tangkoko Nature Reserve. We found all this at the humble Batu Putih beach, and we took a long moment to allow nature to pamper us on her black sands. Everywhere you turned, the landmass was draped in densely overgrown tropical greenery. This was occasionally ruptured by a mysterious and mighty volcanic peak, an ancient testament to a cataclysmic tectonic shift. We resolved to explore the trove of natural riches and cultural heritage at our fingertips even more deeply. And Sakar, our guide through the forest of Tangkoko, would also be our chauffeur and tour guide as we traveled deeper into North Sulawesi. Our first adventure in this part of Sulawesi was to witness something truly sacred. We were about to meet the ancestors of this mystical place, the Warugas.
Warugas are a classification of sarcophagus, an above-ground tomb, and were traditionally used by the Minahasans. They are built of stone and consist of a lower box section with a ridged upper part. Dead Minahasans were originally wrapped in woka, a type of leaf. The corpses were then placed in their waruga facing north, with their heel and toes bent backwards to the buttocks, with the head bent forward to meet the knees. In 1828, the Dutch banned the use of warugas, fearing the outbreak of diseases such as typhus and cholera. The Minahasans responded by beginning to make coffins. There are approximately 370 warugas in the North Sulawesi area, and they are now a tourist attraction.
Our next stop was the small town of Tomohon, which lies in the shadow of the picturesque but active volcano Lokon. We were mainly looking forward to the local market, which in the past would often offer many shocking scenes. Locals would have sold and eaten bats, rats, macaques, and sometimes cats and dogs in a market such as this.
Tomohon City is best known for this infamous market, formerly called Tomohon Extreme Market, where mammals such as monkeys, dogs, cats and bats would have been beaten and burned alive for food. The market has long been considered a refreshment for animal pathogens and a ticking time bomb due to the risk of zoonotic disease, similar to the early cases of COVID-19 traced to a wet seafood market in Wuhan. In July 2023, after years of activist campaigning, Tomohon Mayor Carol Senduk signed legislation banning the sale of dog and cat meat at the market. Market traders have now agreed not to sell, slaughter or trade dogs and cats in Tomohon.
Satisfied that we didn't see anything extreme, save for some dried rats, we went onwards. Our route led us through quaint villages like Tomohon and Rudukan all the way to the Mahawu stratovolcano, which is located to the east of the Lokung Empung volcano. Mahawu is a relatively gentle mountain, suitable even for beginners, but is only reachable via a single access road. The foothill are for the most part inhabited by farmers who grow native vegetables. Unlike other volcanoes, which are usually sandy at the top, Mahawu has a vivid green peak and has many plantations that thrive due to the fertile volcanic soil.
Mount Mahawu is a stratovolcano. The summit of Mahawu is about 1,300 meters above sea level and can be reached using a narrow path surrounded by a flower and vegetable garden. At the top of the climb, a viewing platform straddles a ridge in the volcanic structure and offers an enhanced view of the green Sulawesi landscape.
You go around?
Yeah.
And go back?
Yeah. I gotta go around.
Okay.
Don't worry about me. I've hiked actual mountains. Oh, here you go.
With you. Come here.
With me. Wait, one more.
One more.
One more.
Some more. Okay.
All right, let me get one. Let me sit here. Great. Without all that silly stuff.
Indonesia is a volcanic country, and there are many in North Sulawesi which are still active. The Lokon and the Mahawu both have crater lakes, with Mount Lokon being considered the more beautiful of the two mountains. The steaming crater is 600 meters below the crater rim, and the lake within is 60 meters in depth.
If our previous destination was one involving climbing, the next is the opposite. We are on a hard, winding descent down a narrow path to see a hidden waterfall of Sulawesi, obscured and protected by swathes of lush greenery. The board said it was only 800 meters to our destination, but there felt like no end to the walk. The well-paved path soon turned into a rocky and slippery surface, over which we carefully picked our path, moving slowly closer to our goal. The end of our trial conjured up a magical opening in the tree canopy, and a wonderful sinkhole teeming with plant life framed a cinematic view of 3 waterfalls. The water bellowed loudly through the green curtain of rich Indonesian vegetation. The view was breathtaking, and I'm sure that one day we will enjoy it again. But right now, we have another climb ahead of us. Our return journey took a little more effort and many more breaks. At times, the forest only heard loud panting, and by the time we reached the top, we were all soaked, with sweat streaming down our faces. ancient cemetery, market, volcano, charming Indonesian villages, and so much walking up and down. We've already seen a lot, and it feels like time to slow down and have lunch. Our next stop is the great Tondano Lake, which in addition to the fantastic view, is home to a bounty of Indonesian food, served by authentic local restaurants built directly on the shimmering blue surface. Lunch was a well-needed reprieve for us to regain our strength. Fully rejuvenated after eating, we prepared to head towards our Sulawesi expedition's next destination. Our next port of call was another body of water on the outskirts of Tomohon, which was much smaller but no less interesting. Known among the locals as the Lake of Three Colors, we finally reached Lake Linow. As we drew closer to the shoreline, a pungent aroma began to fill our nostrils. The sulfur within the water here is particularly concentrated, and the smell of rotten eggs hangs thickly in the air. The chemical composition of this landmark results in frequent and dramatic color changes of the water, and Linow is known to change between red, dark green, and deep blue in appearance. On the distant shoreline, we can see several hydrothermal vents spewing hot gases into the atmosphere. Visitors are able to walk along the water's edge, but swimming is not recommended due to the high sulfur content. We have seen so much. Sadly, our time in this amazing land is slowly running out, and only one more destination remains, from which we will head home. As we drive along narrow roads, Sulawesi seems to try to remind us of everything we have seen. Beautiful volcanic vistas flanked by tropical vegetation, sweeping views of fields, crops and landscapes, and small towns and villages where the people who made us feel so welcome call home. Our thoughts wander to the rich heritage and resilience of the Minahasan people, their culture, nature, and architectural wealth passed down through the generations. This is evident in the newly built traditional Minahasan houses we pass, physical proof that all the aspects of this amazing people are here to stay. We come to the end of our journey in Sulawesi on a 6-hectare property surrounded by lush greenery on the outskirts of Manado. Grand Hotel Luley is an idyllic retreat set against the ever-watchful backdrop of Bunaken National Park.
The hotel rooms and villas are furnished luxuriously. 2 separate wings extend into the foliage from a beautifully lit lobby with a dramatic high-pitched roof designed to be impressive but welcoming. From a desolate stretch of white sand just 20 years ago, Grand Luley Hotel's coastline has now become home to many mangroves and wildlife. The hotel grounds are now a haven for ocean doves, kingfishers, and more recently, rare species of Tarsius. The mangrove garden is now the epicenter of Luley's ecosystem, and living proof that no matter how small our actions are, they have a direct impact on our environment. Lush green forests, unique mangrove plantations, the blue Celebes Sea, and one last view of the unforgettable and beautiful Bunaken Island.